Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and today we are checking out Pacific Drive, which this game I think is going to be a mixed bag, I think, for most people, because I think a lot of people want different things from Pacific Drive, and I don't know if it's going to give anyone the thing that they want from it. Because initially, when we saw Pacific Drive, we were like, oh, that's cool. It's like an open world survival crafting game where your main thing that you're trying to do is like keep this car alive. And that's kind of true, but also not, because it's not that hard on like the survival crafting side, and it's kind of more like a maintenance game where you're going through this adventure and you like gotta keep the car alive. I know this just because I watched SkillUp's video on it, because he had an early preview and he's like, this is a very different game from what I thought it was. And I've seen a lot of similar people have those feelings on Twitter that also got available to an early access version of the game, or like a preview build of, they're like, oh, that's different. And I think we'll be able to take a pretty good look at that, because we do have, where is it? There's Surviving the Zone. This is a 9-minute gameplay summary. And unless they have like a launch trailer on here, they do not. That's the most recent trailer that is currently on their channel. This is just from a month ago in January, but we'll rewind to September of 2022 during the state of play when this game was initially shown off, and then we'll work our way forward from there. So without further ado, let's begin. Wait, what did that say? Gameplay captured on PlayStation 5, cinematic footage captured on PC. Okay. Was like the PC version the only version that they could free cam in? Big Dan's. Departed, help yourself. What a nice sign to say. Like, look, man, I ain't coming back for this. If you find this place and you need supplies, load up, man. Whatever's here, it's yours.
Warning. An instability front is approaching. Take immediate shelter in a stabilized area. Locations impacted include sectors Delta and Echo.
I'm sure that's nothing. Oh, fuck!
Another one? After all these years? Call her. Now.
Where'd the car go? The car just disappeared from there. All right. So then we'll move into the Drive, Survive, Repeat gameplay trailer.
Locations impacted include sectors Delta.
Field Research Training Module 1. While conducting your field research out in the Olympic Exclusion Zone, you may find conditions unkind to your personal transport unit. Steel and rubber in particular are extremely susceptible to zone conditions.
Good.
In your toolkit, you have access to the basic equipment you need to maintain your transport. When out on the field, make sure to utilize all appropriate safety gear and equipment. ARDA does not condone petty theft. However, should you find yourself in a life-threatening situation, you may at times borrow from your surroundings.
Borrow. Yeah, that's it. What was that?
Should you encounter unusual phenomena out in the wilderness, remember the 3 safety steps. Number 1, observe only at a careful distance. Approach only at your own risk. Number 2, do not attempt to contain or interact with the phenomena.
Yeah, it seems like that's going well.
Immediately report your findings and follow appropriate decontamination procedures upon your return from the field. And number 3, leave them where you found them.
Gotta have those crystal headlights.
Above all, do not forget the most important critical rule. Do not get caught out in the instability. We remind you that ARDA is not liable for any entropic reconstitution that occurs to you or your loved ones should you interact with the instability. All ARDA personnel are expected to follow strict protocol. Remember, personal methods of creative expression are highly encouraged so long as it does not interfere with official equipment. ARDA is not liable for any injuries or death suffered as a result. That's it for today's training.
Okay, thanks, bye.
And good luck.
So, you know, there's something about this trailer that I don't think I realized before, and I think it's something that a lot of people might have missed, because I remember initially people talking about, oh, this is a cool game. You go out, you go get some stuff, and you're trying to, like, you know, avoid the storm or whatever. But Drive, Survive, Repeat kind of feeds into something that I hope that they'll explain in the gameplay trailer, or the gameplay breakdown. Your goal actually is to, like, within a set time frame, it's almost a roguelike, but not really. It's kind of like a mission-oriented system, because when this appears, your job is to get to it and drive into it, and that's how you survive. And that's what they mean by Drive, Survive, Repeat, because you'll drive in there and then your car gets, I guess, reset, not like reset back to like base stats, but like you start back at the garage and then you do it again, right? Here's the story trailer from August of 2023.
Someone out there?
No.
They're from outside? They're a preacher?
So, another breacher, huh? How do you outsiders not understand that Arda didn't build that 300-meter wall out there for fun? We have to find you a way out.
There's people here?
I wish I could tell you what I saw. I wish I could put it into words. But most of all, I wish I could forget.
Could it be? The remnant?
It can't be. There hasn't been one in decades. When we're all dead and gone, and limb technology but a footnote in the history books, the anomalies will remain. They're the legacy of our work here. And the Olympic Peninsula belongs to them now. Look around. We're stuck here. For good.
The remnants are like us in a way. Those of us who chose to stay behind, we are as discarded and forgotten as they are.
You and the car are inseparable now, so get acquainted.
Something special's going on beneath that hood.
Don't worry about it. I also like how the stick shift had 2 modes, park and drive. That's all I need. Here's the release trailer from November.
The Olympic Peninsula, the crown jewel of the Pacific Northwest. Its unmatched views and quiet solitude offer everything you need in the most beautiful place on Earth.
There is no cause for alarm. Take shelter in the closest pocket of stability in your area, and please refrain from thoughts or memories of home.
Yeah?
The chain of events were in plain sight. Strange accidents leading to the government's claim of eminent domain and subsequent seizure of the peninsula. The evacuation of 100,000 people and the attempt and abject failure at containing the rumors that spread like wildfire.
10.
It was hours before Arda came to extract us.
9.
Some zone secrets are best left secret.
8. 7.
I don't even look up at the sky anymore.
6.
Was she a myth, martyr, or monster?
5.
Nothing had more potential than limb technology.
4.
And look what it did to the Olympic Peninsula.
3. 2. 1.
I have the distinct honor to introduce to you the American people. A new scientific frontier.
That looks safe.
Raw power, the potential is limitless. On this day, we welcome our Faraday future.
Yeah, so and I think one of the things that they're going to break down is I talked about how you do like this repeat section, right? If I can find the little like part that I'm looking at, you choose this course. Here it is. You choose your route, right? And that kind of dictates like kind of what you're going to run into and stuff while you're actually going there. And I don't remember if you can reset at every single one of these or if you have to get to your destination before you reset back to then, try again out in the exclusion zone. All right, so here's the gameplay summary. So this is 9.5 minutes, so strap in.
Hi, I'm Alex Draycott. I'm the creative director over at Ironwood Studios.
And I'm Seth Rosen, the game director on our first title, Pacific Drive. We're going to take a look at the game today. It's a driving survival crafting adventure set in the Pacific Northwest. We find ourselves here in the Olympic exclusion zone, where your only lifeline is an old station wagon.
We're going to start this walkthrough in the garage. It's your base of operations where you start and end every trip. Eventually it'll start to feel like home, and while it can be upgraded, the car is the real star of the show. It's not just a vehicle, it's also the key to your survival. Each part has a purpose, and they can be swapped and upgraded. In the garage, everything is either for taking care of your car or for helping you prepare.
Repair putty. He's got a bucket of Bondo.
Your shield against most dangers out there. For folks who take regular trips into the zone, you're going to need every bit of help you can get.
Speaking of which, you've got to know where you're going before you leave the garage.
Yeah, of course.
On this map, you'll scout routes for your next trip. It gives a preview of what you'll be up against on the right side of the screen, and once you've decided on your destination, you can select it, and the scanner on the roof of the garage will highlight the roads that lead you there. It will also reveal some information about the roadside attractions that you'll pass by.
Looks like it's time to get ready to go. First thing we want to do is top off our fuel. We can always grab some while we're out in the zone, but it's certainly safer to do while we're here in the garage. The next thing that you're going to want to do is check for missing doors and panels that may have been destroyed or misplaced on a previous trip in the zone.
Yeah,
we're
misplaced.
Missing a door, so we're going to go ahead and craft a new one. Now that we've got the part in hand, the labor itself should be pretty quick. Oh, looks like something's up with our tire. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Looks like we got a flat. Since we're back at the garage, we're going to replace it with a spare that we've got on hand, but with the right tools, we could fix that puncture while we're on the road. Now that that's sorted, we also want to grab a scrapper, which we'll use to gather materials while we're out there.
And one last status check before we get behind the wheel. Looks like our battery's a little bit low, and we don't know exactly how long we'll be out in the zone, so we should take care of that. So let's flip this switch and hit the road. If we do get caught with no charge remaining, the car will still start, but no headlights at night is a recipe for disaster. We could hang out in the garage and detail the car or research new upgrades. What we really need right now is more crafting supplies.
Some very specific commands. Hang on, I'm gonna pull it back just a moment. I just want to point out what they were looking at and doing to command the car.
We could hang out in the garage and detail.
Like he highlights the key and turns the key,
research new upgrades.
and then highlights the shifter, and it activates the shifter,
crafting supplies.
and then starts
Instead,
to
we're gonna
drive.
head out, explore some new areas, and scavenge.
This is a
for
note on the
materials.
control scheme.
Each time you exit a level, the route map appears and you'll pick the next stop on your road trip. Maybe you'll want to stick to your plan, or maybe the zone has changed your plans and you need to come up with a new one.
Either way, it's your choice, but for now, let's stick with our original destination. As we roll into this junction, we're looking for any resources or buildings we can scavenge.
Best of luck doing that in a panic. That's probably part of the
We
point.
can check our surroundings with the map on the passenger seat to see if there are any points of interest or structures worth investigating, but not everything is on the map. It's important to keep your eyes peeled. We're currently in the damp forest, which is one of our biomes. Each is different with their own resources to gather and hazards you'll have to avoid. Pacific Drive also features a dynamic time of day and weather system, and since we're in the Pacific Northwest, there's about as much rain as you'd expect. There's even stranger weather to get caught up in as well. Rain and driving surfaces will affect the way your car handles, so drive careful.
As we mentioned, this is a survival crafting game, but unlike most games in the genre, you're going to need man-made materials rather than natural to keep your car running. Your car is your lifeline. If you take care of it, it will take care of you. To do that, you're going to need to scrap abandoned vehicles for parts, pilfer deserted buildings, and craft higher tech tools to recover some of the more exotic things that you'll find in the zone.
Wow, that was a
There is more in the
efficient
peninsula
way
than
to do that.
abandoned ruins and radiation. Watch your back for lurking pickpockets and tourists, and don't leave your car unattended. Abductors have been seen hurling entire vehicles off of cliffs. If you manage to scan any of these anomalies, you'll learn more about their background, and they'll show up on your map when you're planning your routes. But as a note, familiar and anticipated does not mean safe. Every time you visit a junction, certain aspects will be different. The zone causes all manner of things to get jumbled, like different anomalies infesting the area, as well as resources and buildings appearing in new places. Worse yet, large atmospheric shifts can form and pass nearby, bringing increased anomalous activity.
It's generally a good idea to give these things a wide berth, but with the right gear, you might just be able to use it to your advantage. The only thing keeping this chaos at bay are these little pieces of tech called anchors. They've been installed all across the zone in a desperate attempt to stop its expansion. For decades, they've been sitting and absorbing energy from the instability. Luckily for you, the arc device installed in your passenger seat is tailor-made to store that collected energy. Anchors, and the energy extracted from them, are the most important resource in Pacific Drive. Back at the garage, you'll need it to unlock new crafting recipes and upgrade the garage itself, but more pressingly, anchors are your way home. In the zone, it's not safe to drive back the way you came, so you need to find another way. When you're in an area of the zone that is stable enough, like the junction we're in now, you'll need a certain amount of anchor energy based on how far you are from the garage to make your escape. Once it's charged up, use the arc device to open a gateway at a safe distance from your current location. And then, get a move on.
Once a gateway is opened, or if you've chosen to linger too long in a junction, an instability storm is guaranteed to appear. Closing in around you, it may not seem dangerous at first, but getting caught spells certain doom. When you see red in your rear view, you really are on borrowed time. Floor it.
The car is taking a lot of damage. What happens if you don't make it?
We made it back, and with a good haul of resources. We should, though, talk about what happens when you die out in the zone.
Okay.
We won't spoil too much now, but there's more to this garage in your card than at first glance. If you die, you'll still return to the garage, and the game continues, albeit with your ride in a worse state than when you started. The materials you gathered will also be forfeit. Don't worry, though. There's a way to recover those resources, and if your car is in particularly rough shape, well, the zone's a bit strange and sometimes even helpful. There are a few things around the garage that can help you get back on your feet.
You're not fucked if you lose everything.
With our car more or less intact, so we can head into the back room of the garage and spend our anchor energy. At the fabrication station, you can spend the anchor energy and materials you've gathered to print new crafting recipes that help you survive and explore the zone. For now, though, we're going to build something new. There's plenty to add to the garage, but certain stations can also be enhanced and improved.
These garage upgrades have additional tiers.
Game seems just a bit dark. I mean, you might be able to increase the brightness slider, right?
When you play Pacific Drive, we
Up the
want your
gamma a
relationship
bit.
with your car to be a personal one, and one of the ways that we do this is with our quirk system. Over time, your car will develop more interesting characteristics. These quirks are randomly generated, but the types of behaviors your car develops will be familiar to anyone who's driven an old vehicle. Many of these are harmless, and some even helpful, but when they become more of a hindrance, it's time to get it fixed. Enter the Tinker Station. With it, you can try to diagnose the problem and how it's manifesting. If your analysis is correct, or even partially so, the station lets you know, and once a quirk has been identified, it can be fixed for a cost. You'll have to listen to your car to figure out what's wrong, but if you're struggling with the process, you can upgrade the station to make the diagnosis easier.
The garage is always safe, a respite from the chaos of the zone. Unload your trunk, turn on some tunes, catch your breath, and take a moment to tend to your car and nurse it back to health. You'll be mighty glad you did the next time you're barreling down a hill, beset by anomalies, racing towards a gateway. All of the necessary repairs can be done by hand, and there are garage stations that can do some of the work for you. That said, you might be better off recycling an especially busted panel and then using some of the crafting materials that you get back to build yourself an upgraded part, or at least a fresh one. In Pacific Drive, everything can be installed in multiple places on the car. Maybe that means you put a saddlebag on the driver's side for easy access to spare tools.
You don't specifically need a front driver's side door. You just need a door.
And do it fast.
It's not just functional
that's a good
and structural
choice.
Parts that can be customized when it comes to making the car your own. Paint all the panels and doors with whatever colors you collect.
It doesn't paint the rust? What the fuck?
That can be applied as well. Beyond that, there are multiple other slots where you can install the various cosmetic trinkets and stickers you find while exploring, assuming you can successfully make it back with them in your trunk.
With our car fully repaired and detailed, it's time for the next expedition. Our last trip was successful, so the route we took gets uploaded to the system and reveals new junctions to explore. But that won't be the only thing that's changed. The zone's instability will have randomized certain aspects of the map. So take stock, plan your destination, pack your car, and get back on the road.
From Seth, myself, and everyone on the Pacific Drive team, thank you so much for checking out our gameplay.
Was that already 9 minutes? Damn, that went by really fast.
Surviving out in the zone, and we can't wait to see you behind the wheel on February 22nd. Pre-order Pacific Drive now on PlayStation 5, Steam, and the Epic Game Store. Thanks for watching, and remember, the only way out is through.
So that's what you have at this point. The game is currently 10% off while it's in pre-order, but the base price is $30, which I think is actually a perfectly fair price. It looks like they got a pretty significant offering in terms of like what is available in the game. The only thing that I saw that I would add in from the video from SkillUp, which I'll try to remember when I'm like editing this video and like getting it uploaded and stuff, to put a link to SkillUp's video down below, because I do think it's a better insight than just what trailer's going to give you. SkillUp was like, unfortunately, the car doesn't drive very good. Now, they didn't get to play super far into the game, so it probably has rougher controls early in the game versus later, which I can see that, you know, like, oh, you upgrade the drivetrain or whatever, and then you improve your handling, and then it makes the car easier to drive, so you feel like you're progressing in some way. But yeah, this is really interesting because it's really changed from what we thought it was going to be to what it is now. And, you know, maybe it's just because we weren't paying enough attention, like, because especially when in things like the state of play, right, where it's just like trailer. We're like, yeah, survival driving car game. That was cool. Okay, on to the next one. Bye. It's really neat, and I'm really curious to see how this does, because it's taking a few existing ideas and combining them into a new concept. And it'll be interesting to see where this concept car drives off to, as bad of like I don't even know what to call that stupid statement I just had. But yeah, I think it's trying to do something genuinely unique within the game industry. I have heard some complaints as well about like the menus and how finicky it can be with like trying to work on the car and stuff because of the way that the menus function. But that might have been fixed or improved, at least from the preview build to release. But we'll find out, because this game is out basically now. So let me know what your thoughts are on Pacific Drive. I'd love to hear from you. Put them down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, I'm basically on all forms of social media: Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram. We have a Discord, links to everything in the description, or join us on stream. This video is recorded on Twitch, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.